Everything you know is a lie. All of it. All of it. Today I will destroy that illusion for you, and you will come to know the truth, and the truth will set you free. You know, as cringy as it sounds, after you have what people call a spiritual awakening, you really do see how, like, everybody else is just sleepwalking through life. We never seem to question the nature of our reality, and we just accept things as they are. And because everybody else is in the same boat as we are, we just think that this is normal. So what is the Truman Show anyway? What the Truman Show is a flat earth motif. And what this basically means is that reality is as if you were living on a flat earth, or that the construct in which you are living in is contained, and the reality that we live in is within the construct, but the true nature of reality is beyond. Sorry, I thought it was the government coming after me. The Matrix is also a flat earth motif. It's the same thing. And a lot of those people you hear that say they've escaped the Matrix have absolutely no idea. What they have done, from my perspective, a lot of them, is that they escaped the first layer of the Matrix and then got trapped in the second layer, which is like 10,000 times more difficult to escape. Because when you believe that you are free, you don't ever realize that you are a slave. You never think about it. Why would you? You think you're free. And so you live in a prison in which the cell door is wide open. And so long as we live inside the Matrix, or the Truman Show, or the construct, we will always be a slave to one thing or another. We can never have true freedom, and this will always create suffering. In Eastern traditions, let's say, this is called the wheel of samsara, the cycle of birth and death, of reincarnation, the karmic cycle. And the story goes that all beings that come into existence are trapped in this kind of meat grinder of suffering and death and terribleness. Basically, that life sucks and then you die. And so we don't want to be living that kind of reality, do we? I didn't think so. So the first sign that you might be trapped in the Truman Show is that you get triggered very easily. You have strong identifications and attachments to things. When we get triggered, it means that some part of our identity has been poked at, some insecurity, some kind of pain point. When we get triggered easily, all the resources from our thinking brain get sent down into our body in the form of emotions. Therefore, if we're always getting riled up, we're not thinking very logically. We're not looking at life through a logical lens, but rather we're kind of following our emotions. We're in a state of reaction. Our instincts are pulling us in these different directions. We essentially get caught in the realm of the animals, the lower nature, the lower three chakras. And that is a world, that is a reality full of death and suffering. If you've ever watched National Geographic, you would know this. And so we want to escape that reality. So if you're always experiencing strong negative emotions, strong reactions to the things that people say, it means that you are caught in a prison of your own mind. A prison of identity and a prison of attachments. It is said that we do not see reality as it is, we see reality as we are. Which leads us to our second sign, that is, we have a strong sense of separation or individual identity. We might even say we could be a bit selfish. Why does this keep us trapped in illusion? It's because our entire world, our entire reality is being filtered through the mind. So the more filter that is there, the more reality is being filtered out. We already know that we are pretty much unconscious of 99% of everything. And so the stronger identity that we have, the more narrow our perspective. We essentially are blocking out or separating ourselves from the light of truth, the light within us. which is the key to becoming free, which I'll explain shortly. I think about it like this. Imagine there was a great big wall, and over that wall there is a screen. And in front of that wall and screen, there is a great big divine white light that illuminates what is on the screen. And what is on the screen is experience, is the world as we see it through our eyes. But because we are born into this life as a human being and have come to identify as an individual person, we have a person-shaped shadow standing in between the light and the wall. And so what the light does, what the shadow does, it casts a person-shaped shadow onto the world. Which is why we are always seeing the world through this filtered lens. What people don't know about the flat earthers is that they know in the core of their being something about that idea is true, but they too are caught in this illusion and therefore do not see reality clearly. The truth about the flat earth motif, I like to think about it with the help of our friend Neil deGrasse Tyson, who says the earth is an oblique spheroid rotating at hundreds of miles an hour, and it's rotating through space at thousands of miles per hour. That is the truth, scientifically verified data, but when we go outside, we do not experience that fact at all. Not one bit. Therefore, that information is irrelevant to our experience. But rather, we are projecting a two-dimensional reality from our minds onto a three-dimensional world, which is why they believe that the earth is flat. Because they live in a two-dimensional reality in their minds, as we all do. We don't see objects in space, we see their meaning. And we experience the meaning, not the objects themselves. Now you're beginning to understand what the construct is, what the matrix is. It's a mind-projected reality that keeps everybody a slave. It's not some evil government or secret society that is controlling everybody. It is the demon in the mind, the great tempter, the creator of illusions. It has many names and has been expressed probably in all the religions of the world since the beginning of time. And that illusion is that of separation. So when we have a strong sense of separation from the world around us, that is how we know we are trapped. Because in truth, all of existence is one divine intelligence. We are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. Reality is one infinite energy slowed down to the rate of zero. And I like to think of it as an accordion. All of existence is in between. And so everything is vibrating at its own unique frequency of existence. But everything is that same one energy. Now we're getting closer to freedom. But the last signpost before we get there is that you experience a lot of suffering and a lot of negative emotions. Or you might just have a general dissatisfaction with life. You just might not be happy. I had a psychedelic, one of my first psychedelic trips. I was sitting on a couch, and I remember as I was going into it, like this dark cloud was almost like consuming me, and I was going to sleep, which is surprising because on psychedelics, you're more awake. And I probably blacked out for a few minutes, and then I woke up, and then soon after I had this grand revelation, and I experienced what I call the Buddha's laugh, which is when you are in a state of laughter that turns to crying at the same time. So you're like on the border between laughing and crying. And what this means is that the laughing comes from the revelation of, oh, I get it. Reality is not as it seems. It is everything that I thought I knew was completely just not true. And you tap into this greater, more grand understanding of the nature of reality. That the physical world is just the surface level of things. Which makes you laugh because you kind of get what they call the cosmic joke. And at the same time, you begin to cry because you realize the suffering of all the beings in the world and in the universe. You realize that it is an illusion, but that illusion is very real to those who are in it. And that every moment we are not experiencing peace, every moment that we are not experiencing love and happiness and joy and freedom, that is suffering. It's not strong negative emotions. It's not anger. It's not irritation. It's the absence of joy. It's that general dissatisfaction that we have that's kind of in the background of our experience. That is suffering. That is pain. And then we add on to that pain by trying to find lasting satisfaction in a temporary world. And we get caught in self-destructive behavior. We get caught in pleasure seeking. And that does nothing but leave us lower when we were trying to get high. But soon you will know how to be high forever, kind of. To find true lasting satisfaction, to break free from the illusion. That is the point. Life is not meant to be lived in suffering, in depression. That's not life. Most people seem to just be surviving. You want to be filled and invigorated with life. That is living. And that means that there is joy. That means that there is love. There is gratitude. There is peace. So find these things. Find it. Don't look out there. There's nothing out there for you. Look within. Which leads us to how to escape this illusion. And how we do this is that we discover our true divine essence within. This can be done through meditation. This can be done through self-inquiry. And this can be done by spiritual teachings and knowledge. There are other ways, but we'll stick with these. Self-inquiry is the easiest way, so we'll do a quick experiment. And this is supposed to be very practical. It's not even supposed to be spiritual. It's not a mind game. We're trying to experience directly our true nature, our true self. Because the knowledge is that you are the eternal and infinite source of creation that is consciousness. That is your true nature. But I can tell you that all day. It doesn't mean you're going to believe it. You have to come to that experience for yourself. And that is done through self-inquiry and other methods. Well, let's do the experiment. So just close your eyes for a moment. Kind of just relax. Take a few deep breaths. And see if you can just do nothing for a moment. This is the first step. Just relax and be at ease. Don't try and stop your thoughts. Don't try and follow your thoughts. See if you can just let go of everything. Don't do anything. And that is not easy for the mind to do because the mind likes to do stuff. It likes to grab onto things. It likes to attach itself. And see if you can just drop it just for a moment. Now the next step is just look and observe what are the things that are arising in your experience at this moment. You can name them, you can label them. There's probably not that many things. There might be some sounds in the background. There might be some thoughts about how silly this exercise is. There may be some tension in the body. You might feel the sensation of your body rubbing against a chair or your feet against the ground. What else is there right here, right now? Where are you as a person? Where are you as a man or a woman? Where are you as a human being? Where are you as your job or your role in society or your relationships with other people? These are all the things that your identity uses to construct itself. This is how your personality is formed, but where is it? What we are doing here is that we are separating what is false from what is true, because what is true is right here, right now. What is the objective fact of this moment? It's not identity. It's not personality. It's not our roles or relationships, because these things are all constructs in the mind. They have no power whatsoever, but because we believe in them, we feed them our energy and they are granted life. We give them our life force and we believe them into existence. But what is here now? There is a great silence in which all noise arises and falls back into. That silence is eternal. It is always in the background of all experiences, of all noise, of all sound. The sound just temporarily covers it up and distracts us from that silence. So too, what you might have found is that there is an inner spaciousness or an inner presence. They are closely connected together. What this inner presence is the radiance of that eternal consciousness. Eckhart Tolle calls it our inner energy field. And what you will find is that this presence is eternal. It never changes, but the noise of the mind distracts us from being able to experience it. So the more mind activity there is, the more we become separated from this inner presence. Which is why I said, when you have a strong identity, you become trapped in illusion and separated from the truth. Because that identity fuels your thoughts, it fuels your mind activity, and the more mind activity you have, the more you are distracted from this true inner being, the essence of what you really are. In order to experience this to its fullest, the mind must be quiet. Tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning, see if you can tap into this presence, because every morning, that is when it will be at its greatest. Because in the early mornings, your mind has yet to kick on, so you experience it to its fullest. They call this presence the I am. It's the sensation of being. You are here, but as what are you here? You exist, but as what do you exist? Do you exist as a concept? Or do you exist as a presence? That is spiritual awakening. That is escaping the illusion, because the more you tap into this inner presence and become one with it, the more you transcend material existence, because this inner presence is the gateway to the divine. It's the gateway to the kingdom of heaven. It's the gateway to eternity. And eternity is the transcendent realm. And for extra credit, answer this. Who is aware of that inner presence, of that inner spaciousness? Who is aware of the sensation of being? Find the answer to this, and you will have escaped illusion.